All right, here we go. Here we go. How is I believe we're feeding out to the folks out there, which we are. In yes, indeed. Let's do this. Let's start this way. All right. Welcome back to the show here. This is the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. This is the channel. This is the Who Moved My Freedom channel that you guys are. If you want to watch this live, this is where you come to. So people are watching it live now, or for the folks listening to this that you want to watch it live, you come right here. Who Moved My Freedom on YouTube. Just search that up and you will find it. According to the Kiribati official news channel. And if you guys never heard of Kiribati, I never heard of it either. But we are the most trusted source of Second Amendment commentary, news, information, and freedom, according to the Kiribati News Agency. Have any of you guys ever heard of that? You guys think I'm making that up, don't you? I can just see. You guys think I'm making it up. That's an actual place. That's not an actual endorsement, but it's an actual place right here. I actually Googled like obscure countries. If you want to make claims, you got to put it on because someone in Kiribati is going to be like, what? Hank Strange said one. Okay, this is gonna be a diplomatic incident now. So anyway, this is the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. I want you guys to go to hankstrange.com, check out our email list. Lola is posting Lola's deals up there. You can look around. You can find all kinds of different ways you can support us on there. Check that out, and I appreciate you all doing that. Big shout out to Franklin Armory. Thanks to them for sponsoring the podcast. I am going to kick everything off right now.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange Situation.
All right, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, smash that thumbs up, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. We are live right now. So we've got a new guest here. We've got Eugene joining us here, as well as Scott Gorillas and Guns there joining us. Everyone has to do the jazz hands. That's how we do it. You got to get those jazz hands going. There you go. However, you can always put your own twist on it. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on out there. Oh, we got gorilla jazz. I don't know if that's a gorilla jazz hands or what's good.
That's the gorilla.
Oh, there we go. All right. Silver. Is that King Kong? I don't know.
No, that's Freddy the Finger.
Oh, Freddy yeah. I've heard of that move. So anyway, this is episode 752 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. The title of the show today is iCOP and why the USPS, the U.S. Postal Service, is spying on us. And we've got Gorillas and Guns joining us to talk about that. Welcome, Gorillas and Guns, as well as Eugene Griffen. How you doing, man?
Doing good.
Thanks for coming on the show here. So I was asking you behind the scenes. We've never actually met, right?
Correct.
Okay. But so, when I was looking it up, I saw that you and Scott were friends. You and Gorillas and Guns are friends, and you're even friends with Babyface P. And right. I think you tried to reach out to me a while ago. Lola was saying that maybe almost a year ago we were trying to get you on the show here. So I know some things came up. We couldn't make it happen.
Yeah. Also, Kevin Dixie. That's who that's how I really found you and started watching you with him. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, why don't you tell the audience, the folks out there, who you are, what you do here in the gun community, how you came to be in the gun community, what's your particular thing, just give us some quick facts so we can get to know you.
Sure. Eugene Griffen, as he said there, I've been in the gun community since I was born, basically. But what I do is I run a gun group called Whammy, and it is a extremely diverse gun group. And what it's about is bringing everyone together of all skin colors, belief systems, all that, and bringing everyone together under one platform and under the Second Amendment. And so that's what brings us together. We are the most diverse gun group online, bar none, no question.
Okay.
And it's a brotherhood. So yeah.
So is that like a private Facebook page? What exactly? What's the
Yeah,
actual entity there?
it's not a open, the open page. It is a closed page.
Mm-hmm.
It's invite only.
Mm-hmm.
But we check you out to make sure you're not extreme in either direction.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not a bunch of crazy, insane talking points on your page, we let you in,
Oh. Oh.
and bring
Okay.
everything together.
I
So
don't know if
yeah.
I would actually
Well,
be allowed into that.
Oh, you're good.
I was about to say they made their first mistake. They let me in. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. He totally
Right.
crazy. Yeah. He didn't, I can't say that Scott started the crazy train, but he totally derailed it. No, okay, so the mission of what does whammy mean? That's one thing. Like, where did that
Whammy is
name come from?
it's a term again that came from when I was a child,
Mm-hmm.
and um, I was shooting guns when I was a kid. So the
Mm-hmm.
other kids in the neighborhood, they had never shot. So when we went and played toy gun, cops and robbers, all that, and you hear the
Mm-hmm.
pew pew pew, everybody's making their gun. Well, I actually shot guns before, so I knew it
Mm-hmm.
didn't sound like pew pew. I
Mm-hmm.
would go wham wham, when I would shoot my
Okay.
because I knew it was loud, and
Mm-hmm.
so that grew into me calling guns whammies because
Okay.
of the sound that I believed it made. And
Mm-hmm.
as I got older, that's
Okay.
what we called it was what. And in Seattle, it was a known thing. People would call guns like you hear burner and all these
Right.
whammies was the word for guns, and
Oh,
so
okay. So are you still in the Seattle area?
absolutely
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Yeah, so it's like certain places they call it chopper. Get the chopper.
exactly
Yeah.
exactly.
Don't make me get the chopper, son. Uh, I'm assuming that's like a machine gun, or in my mind I think AK. Probably like a
Yeah,
seven
because
six
chopper
two.
was originally the Tommy gun, the
Mm-hmm.
chopper, and then it turned out to be the AK-47 throughout the late '80s, '90s and now these kids just call anything a chopper. So yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
I just I
Go
just
ahead.
call them bananas. You can't get in
Bananas.
trouble for calling it a banana.
Oh, I see.
You
I
just
see.
keep calm and carry a
That's your
banana. You'll be good.
That's your
That's
code.
right.
That's your code. That's the gorilla code.
That
Boss Hog is in the chat. Shout out to him. He says he's in whammies.
Sweet.
So there you
Yep,
go.
yep.
If there's anyone else in here that's in whammies, let us know right now. Brian Quick says big money, no whammies, big money. I guess, is that a gambling thing?
that was some game show back in the 70s, 80s, I
Oh,
think it
that's
was.
Yeah.
right.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
LV
yeah.
Louis Cipher is saying. Any relation to the little gremlin from the game show? Press your luck. Wait. Okay.
That's the show. Yep. Press your luck. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, so let's see. The Juice says, "Oh damn, Seattle and dudes a patriot. Awesome sauce." Yeah. So that's definitely something we could spend some time
Mhm.
talking about there. How are things in Seattle?
It's a mess, man. It's crazy. It's wild. I mean, you know, geographically, Washington State is conservative,
Mm-hmm.
um, as it is in a lot of states, right? But
Mm-hmm.
King County and Pierce County is literally half or more of the population of the state, and that's where all the voting and these ignorant laws are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But if you broke the state up and it's red everywhere, and then these two small blue pockets, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where the control comes from.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
that's what's
that's
happening in a lot of
exactly the
places.
same here in Virginia.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah,
the whole state's all red except for a few tiny little spots, and those
Mm-hmm.
are the big city areas, and those are the blue spots, and that's where everything stems.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like Virginia used to be. What was the thing? Virginia's for lovers.
Hmm.
and it also used to be for guns,
Yep.
right?
We're trying to bring that back.
Yeah, man. This it's just well,
Yeah.
Florida was the gunshine state, but I don't know,
Yep.
man. I don't know if we could hold our heads up high with that one. You know, we've got some
Right.
gun control nonsense that's going on here in Florida, so um, let's. So okay, there's a couple different things here that I want to cover. So obviously, Scott, you're in the group, right? So what kind of
Mhm.
stuff do you get up to there in the group, or what kind of discussions, things like that happen in the group? You could tell us about.
I mean, I just follow along with the discussions they're posting up. They
Mm-hmm.
post a lot of like 2A news that's going on. There's memes that go up, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and Eugene's really on top of it. When a member has a birthday, he posts a very cool picture and says happy birthday to the member. So,
Oh, okay.
and they try to spread as much news as they can, and keep everybody in the loop and keep everybody working together, and it's a good group, man. I mean, there's a lot of people in it and
Mm-hmm.
everybody gets along and it's great.
Okay, cool. Is the mission to keep the group apolitical?
Well, the mission really is for everyone to. What we're trying to do is we're trying to do what America is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't care what side, what Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. I don't care what your beliefs are or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. Everyone needs to be able to be under the same roof because we are all in the same country. So we need
Mm-hmm.
to be all in the same group and get along. We can debate, we can disagree. So it's what I'm not is a dictator trying to control what people feel, think, and you got to see things this way or else you're banned. That we don't do that there. It's you are who you are.
Mm-hmm.
State your piece, respect, and that's that.
Oh, okay. So
Mhm.
you're not trying to have people go off into their own corners. So like, let's say people will put you in a box that if you're black, you can't be conservative, or you can't be a gun guy, or whatever it is that people want to do with
Exactly.
that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. I think the Second Amendment
Exactly.
should not be a political thing.
Right.
Obviously
Agreed.
politicians have made it into that, I think, but it's not a political thing. It's for everyone in America.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So but this is kind of how things have been divided for a long time. So I think that is good for people to get in there. Let me see. There's a couple of different things that we had that we wanted to go over. So in your background, you said there's like an armed robbery that happened with your family. Do you want to tell the folks about that, or
Sure.
frame that situation
Yeah.
up for us?
Yeah. Yeah. So my father. I'm writing a book on it, so I'll just give you the quick version, very quick version. There was a guy who was pretty um, messed up in the head. He was a big time drug dealer. But
Mm-hmm.
long story short, he uh, broke into my parents' house and into our house armed with a rifle, and they knew him because he was my aunt's ex boyfriend. This guy was really insane. He was all about control, and dad said get out. He wouldn't get out. He threatened everybody. He actually punched my grandmother to the floor.
Mm.
Okay. And he was getting ready to attack everyone. My mom took the kids and ran in the back. And long story short, as he attacked my father shot him. And he died on our living room floor. Dad
Okay.
took off running with the gun in his hand. He took off running to the police precinct with the gun in his hand. That's how distraught. That's how messed up he
Wow.
was over it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he took off running and got to the police precinct.
Mm-hmm.
He was, obviously he was in the right.
Mm-hmm.
No jail time or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
When was
almost a
this?
year later.
When was this? Like, how far back was it? You don't have to give us like
This was
exact
this
time.
was this was late 70s.
Okay, late 70s.
Late
Okay.
70s is when it happened, yeah. And
Okay.
a year later, the person that he was forced to take down. That person, we don't know who it was exactly, but they then shot my father about a year later,
The
and with
same
a 30-06.
the same guy?
No, not the same guy, but that guy's people. We don't
Oh,
know
they're
if it was his
people. Okay, so
brother,
right, you said
his
that
friend.
guy died, right?
Right, correct,
Okay. Yeah,
correct.
so in retaliation they shot your dad. Okay.
Correct, correct. And this was about a year later,
Mhm.
because he had moved to Oregon after that. He came back just to visit his family, and yeah, it was up in the attic, but they had the gun in the newspaper and everything. It was a
Okay.
30-06 they hit him with, went through
Mhm.
his back, out his stomach. He flatlined,
Mhm.
but they brought him back to life.
Okay. Wow. So he actually had to leave the state. Was he living with you guys when when this all happened, and
Oh
then
yeah.
he had to like move out and go live somewhere else?
He didn't have to. He
Okay.
did because he felt it was the right thing to do.
Mhm.
And so the whole family moved to Oregon
Mhm.
uh,
Oh,
for a
all of
while.
you guys, everyone moved out there. Okay.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
immediate family, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Kathleen
a
Music Lover
question
was
out
saying, "Was
there.
this in Washington State?" Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
It
No, I was
was. It was
going
in
to say.
Longview, Washington.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. There's a lot there. I don't know, Scott, if you have any questions or anything like that.
No, man. I
Yeah.
mean, I couldn't imagine going through that myself. So, when he said his dad ran to the police station,
Yeah.
that's probably something a lot of people would do,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because you're not expecting something like that to happen in your life. And when it does, it's really traumatizing,
Yeah.
and
I'm
your
sure he
brain,
didn't have any kind of plan or anything
right?
like
Right.
that, or realize that was going to happen. Thankfully, he was there to save you guys. And you know what? It just I know this is like shameful, but I don't think he ever thought about things like U.S. Law Shield or what were the laws.
Right.
What do you do?
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
Yeah.
saying? No one
Exactly.
thinks about that. You know,
And
what
especially
do you do?
back then in the
Yeah,
70s, I mean,
yeah.
there there probably wasn't a lot of stuff like that happened back then,
Hmm. Hmm.
for people to
Right.
spread the news and to understand how to
Hmm.
react to that kind of situation.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to think about it. There was of course, no social media, no, none of
Mhm.
that. The quick information that we're able to get now, that quick knowledge, none of that. It's just you're on
Hmm.
your own, really.
Yeah, and so you guys, so no one in the family, like your dad, wasn't involved in any kind of crime or gangs or anything like
Oh
that. He
no,
was just a
no.
regular working dude.
That's right. My dad,
Hmm.
that's what he instilled in me and my brother is work, work, work. My dad's worked my entire life,
Hmm.
11 hours a day, a lot of times, and
Hmm.
he worked very far out. And that's where me and my brother, we've seen what, hard work looks like,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and
Hmm.
he was that perfect example of that.
Yeah. How did that affect you guys? So I'm assuming like your family line was from that area in Washington, right? And then you all had to move out to Oregon. How do you say it? Oregon? Oregon?
Oregon.
Oregon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where
Yeah.
Clint Smith and the Thunder Ranch is at. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Um, so my family, on my father's side, is from Arkansas,
Okay.
back country. He's a country boy, to the
Hmm.
roots. And they moved up here for a little bit. And my mother, her side of the family is actually from Alabama.
Hmm.
She was born up here. My dad was born in Arkansas, so they met in Longview.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I tell you what, I have a lot of aunts and uncles, and on my dad's side, when that situation happened, and this is something to really think about. When that situation happened with my dad, both parts, um, out of the 8 siblings that my dad has, 2 of them turned anti-gun specifically because of that situation. The others turned to guns in a major way, like they were
Hmm.
already pro-gun. But when that happened, it was like, okay,
Yeah,
I really,
that's the normal path. I mean, that proves
Mhm.
that this is why you should have the right to defend yourself because you don't know when things are going to happen. Something randomly happened to you guys. He was able to save the whole family and then didn't go to jail or he wasn't punished for defending his family, right? That's where else does that take you?
Right.
If your brain is functioning.
It takes you there. But strange enough, excuse me, well, two of them turned anti-gun from that. And I believe it is something to, I don't know, something I think about because I believe it even happens. It happens everywhere. That same thing, you know, something crazy happens. Some people go, oh my God, look what happened. I need a gun. And then you get these other ones who go, guns are evil. Get rid of them. Look what happened. And there's these two different ways of reacting to that kind of a situation, you know, and the logical one, we know what that is, but unfortunately, some people go the complete opposite direction.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. It has a lot to do with like the fear of the situation, you know, and within the fear of the situation, they believe that the gun probably caused the situation. And that's far from the truth. I mean, it's an inanimate object. It's merely a tool, but people's reactions to things and their brain doesn't always process things the way it should or logically should. So, you know, it's like a little twig that snaps and it says, okay, well, now I'm scared. So I have to hate this thing.
Yeah, I think I understand that. I've spoken to people who, like I had a friend, for example, that when she was younger, she was in the car. I guess they took their parents' car and they went somewhere and there was a shotgun in there and somehow accidentally that shotgun went off and someone got shot. And that person survived, but that kind of a situation, I can see why people create some kind of fear around that, right? That pushes them in the opposite direction of guns. I still don't think that it's obviously not rational, but I can understand that more than if if someone in your family is in a situation where they save themselves and other members of the family using a firearm, they do it all legally, and they enjoy the protections of the Constitution for that, you know, then I don't, it's just not logical to me that it pushes you in the opposite direction.
The opposite way, you know.
Yeah.
You would think that, hey, maybe next time I should be prepared with equal force, you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't have that mentality in their brains, you know, because they let fear rule their brain, and that fear will do some crazy stuff to you, you know.
Yeah. You know, and then I think, you know what I think it is? So, like my parents, for example, were afraid of guns, right? And this is a thing that is instilled in people in a lot of different places. In America, it happens. My parents are from outside of America, but it happens a lot outside where the government makes the people think that they are the only ones qualified to have the guns, and it's scary. And I think America obviously is doing that same thing, and there are a lot of people who fall into that here. In the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, we've had a lot of black people in America because they're afraid of something, which to me I think is generated by the media, you know, and they're thinking, oh, these Trump people are coming to get me. They've been getting a lot of guns. And that I understand part of that is exactly what we're talking about, this natural thing. The fear of it, I think, is illogical if they're really sitting there thinking that the people who voted for Trump are trying to get, if half the people in the country are trying to get a group of people that represents about 20% of the country, I don't know how you actually survive. You know, if that was real is what I'm saying to you. You know?
Right.
Yeah, but hopefully once people, even if that particular thing pushes them into it, I hope that once they get in, they start to understand things about the Constitution. You know, what is the Second Amendment? Why do you have that? Okay, how do you actually properly, safely, effectively use this firearm? And then they, you know, and that branches into things like training and all of that. And then, hey, if you want to keep your politics or whatever, hopefully you realize that this is a separate situation. You know? I forgot the name. What's the name of the guy, the actor big wrestling guy. He was in the Guardians of the Galaxy. That said you don't need an
Oh,
AR-15 to defend your home. What's that guy's
is
name
that
again?
Batista?
Yeah, Batista. Yeah. When you have people like that saying that, they don't actually know what it is to either
Right.
live in fear of people kicking in your door and coming in there with guns and all kinds of other weapons with no good intentions for you, right? They don't know
Mhm.
what that is, or they've probably never also even remotely gone through anything like that. To know that in
Right.
that situation, I want I want as many guns, and everything as I could possibly get, in that
Right.
situation. So,
And plus, you look at him, he's a big guy, he's physically fit, he's
mhm.
probably pretty tough, it's like, hey, I'm a badass, nobody's going to come breaking in my house, but if somebody does come breaking in your house wielding guns, I mean, how are you going to fight back? Your muscles ain't going to beat the guns.
That's
No,
right.
for
That's
sure.
right.
If people, you know how
And
many
and
times.
and Phil,
Go ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, you know how many times I've seen, like, I grew up in New York City, right? I grew up in a place called Far Rockaway in New York City. That's only progressively ever gotten worse for anyone who even has any clue about Far Rockaway. So the thing is, you know how many big muscle-bound dudes I've seen just get straight knocked out?
Hmm.
Man, I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, this is the thing I'm trying to say to you. Like, I'm not giving any quarters. If you're coming into my house, I'm not gonna give you a fair one.
Right.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What are we talking
Yeah.
about here?
And there are people who actually think that like that was unfair. You like what?
No.
It's I'm starting to think that there are people who I think a lot of people literally cannot put themselves in someone else's shoes. Like their
Mhm.
bias is a tunnel and they actually cannot see outside of it. I used to think it was they purposely did not look outside,
Mm.
but I think they can't because it just does not make any sense. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be super intelligent to understand these things.
Hmm.
Yet and still, they're just so zoned into whatever ideology they have where they can't look. It's mind blowing.
People are more
It's
broken.
mind
People are
blowing.
more broken than the guns. The guns are an inanimate thing. I don't think guns are
Right.
perfect. I don't think anything is well. Anything material is perfect, right? I do
Mm.
believe
Right.
there are some perfect things in our world, in our universe, but the guns themselves are inanimate. The people is where all the problems lie. And you're right. There's people that look. How does Batista, who's an actor, and he gets a script where it says, yeah, these 50 guys break into your house, and because you're a badass, you kill all of them with just your bare hands, or with a
Mm.
pencil, with a paper clip or something like that. And he doesn't realize it's in the script. He's making movies. It's in the
Right.
script. There's stunt people, and there's stops and takes, and there's CG and all kinds of stuff. You don't know that? Do you somehow, you're the actor. You don't realize
Mhm.
that you're on a stage and that's not the real world?
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
you don't realize if in the middle of the night you're in your home with your family and someone kicks in the door, you just want to unleash hell on whoever decided to
Period.
violate your home like that. That's it. That's all you want to
Mhm.
do. And then there has to be something wrong with that person to not see that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? So the book I'm writing is called The Son of a Gun.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of things that then I went through after, much after that as I
Hmm.
started growing up. And one of those things is I was at an AMPM one time, and this guy tried to. They're going to rob the AMPM. My buddy was inside. He comes out, and this guy was going to rob them, with his firearm. I caught him right before he drew his gun out,
Hmm.
and in other words, I beat him on the draw because I seen something didn't look right, and I told him, do not take your hands out of your pockets from your hoodie because I'll kill you if you take your hands out.
Hmm.
And I'm just giving you the quick story here, but that situation, my friend, came out and seen, oh my God, they're trying to rob us, not realizing I had this guy at gunpoint. Well, when that was all said and done, he wasn't anti-gun at all. But when that was done, when that was over, it's a life-changing experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go to some of my friends or family members who may be anti-gun. I go, so to hell with my life. Is that what you're saying? Because if it wasn't for this firearm, I wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they start thinking then, it blows my mind that you need that to think that. All you gotta do is watch the news. That tells you everything you need to know.
Precisely, exactly. Kathleen Music Lover, who I think is in your area, she wants us to ask you, does the area even have gun ranges anymore?
Yes.
Okay.
Not in Seattle specifically,
Mm-hmm.
But the very close outskirts of Seattle. When you're from here, it's Seattle, anything close to Seattle, you call it Seattle. Even though it might be Renton, it might be Skyway, it might be Tukwila, we call it Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, there is. There's actually a good amount of gun ranges. If you go South King County, there's plenty.
Mm-hmm.
If you go north to Snohomish County, there's plenty.
Okay. All right. Cool. 42 Chilled says, "Was that a Dem clock?" Yes, I'm at Patrick's place, Babyface P. There's a cuckoo clock over here, so I don't know how to stop that thing. So you guys are gonna hear it every half hour. That's how you know we are keeping it real around here. So Miss K says, "My mom just said that, Hank, it's not the guns, it's the hearts of some people that are evil." I would agree
Exactly.
with that. Yeah.
That's fact.
Yeah. K&M Arms says AM PM is a gas station and mini mart.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was like, what is AM PM? I was gonna.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I don't know. What is AM PM?
My bad. Yeah, I guess
Come on,
that's
Hank,
kind of
you
a
watch
West
enough
Coast thing,
movies. You
yeah.
should have known what that was.
Where
It's like
have
a
I ever
7-Eleven
seen that in a
kind of
movie?
thing, yeah.
Where have I ever seen that in a movie? What movie? I
I'm
guess
pretty
I'll
sure
know
I've
now.
seen it, or I must have just heard it in conversation somewhere.
Oh,
but
I thought
knew
he was
what it
saying A and P. I was like, oh, he must be saying A and P. That's like that because that's a grocery store or something. But obviously,
Yeah.
Ken from K&M Arms could see the look of confusion on my face. Yeah. Okay, so that's like a 7-Eleven, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's
All
the
right.
corner
Cool.
store gas station thingy.
Yeah. Let's see. Black Sword Shinobi says it's your right to keep it real. There we go. LV Louis Cypher says AMPM is similar to 7-Eleven and other gas stations / convenience stores. There you go. Okay. That's just like how we were talking about Buc-ee's yesterday, but I won't get back into that. I won't get back into that whole Buc-ee's conversation. Yeah, so, speaking of the news, you were talking about we were talking about news stuff, and I saw that in the pre-chat and then even here, people wanted to talk about obviously we've got shootings and things like that. We had the George Floyd case, the police officer, Derek Chauvin was just found guilty. And then there's, the media being the media right now is going to put every time a police officer shoots someone, that's going to become big news. Right. Yep. And so I think one of the things in the news is this young black woman that was shot. But the evidence and more evidence every day is coming out. That's why I always try here to wait until we see stuff so we know what's happening, or we have a better understanding of what's happening. But video and stuff like that is coming out showing that this woman was trying to kill another young woman with a knife.
That's
and
right.
she said it. She said her intention. She said it even after a police officer arrived on the scene. And when I looked at that video, I don't know if everyone's seen the video, but when I looked at that, I was like, wow, this cop actually did. There's got to be some kind of training involved. I think considering that whole situation, if you look 360 and what was going on there, that he showed up, I think there was some kind of struggle going on, right? and he's involved in that whole struggle with them. She's trying to shoot people. There's people all around, and he obviously fired and got her. Didn't hit the person she was trying to stab or anyone else, from what I could tell. People can tell me if I'm wrong out there.
Nope.
What do you guys think about this whole thing? It's a little bit,
Yeah.
it's
Apparently, he
out there.
put 3 shots center mass, right? How he was trained to do it, Yeah, and yeah, she was charging at that girl with the knife. You can clearly see in the video because the chief of police there said that he wanted to put the video out as quickly as possible because of all this media hype and everything that's been going on lately, especially surrounding the Chauvin trial and Maxine Waters' comments and things like that. So they slowed it down and showed it in slow motion, and you can see she's charging and lunging at her and swinging the knife like this. So, and right at that moment, he was like, "Yeah, I got to take my shot, or this girl's gonna get stabbed to death."
Yeah. So, what do you think about this, Eugene? Have you been following this at all, or?
Absolutely. I believe that this guy, dare I say, incredible. I mean, to analyze that entire situation, I mean, that was chaos. You seen a guy kicking a girl on the ground, and that, let me tell you, I am so, that bothers me. I'm very, don't you put your hands on a woman, and he's not just, he's kicking her on the ground. Anyway, he's seeing all this stuff going on, and yet was able to analyze that specific situation right there and make the call to save that person's life. That's
a young girl.
That's
I mean,
amazing.
a young girl, and I don't. To me, it's not so much the race. The race side of this doesn't really matter to me, right? But obviously, people out there make it a race issue. That's a young black person that he saved, right?
Yeah, there's the only race part. The cop was white. That was all of the same color.
But this is a black
white
community, obviously, or something, or whatever was going on here. But he saved that person in that community. Why don't we see that? How come why are we skipping over that? Why are we just looking at he killed this young black girl? He didn't want to do that. He didn't go there with the intention to do that. This situation unfolded so fast, and he did, like, if she would have hit that girl with some, I think she was going for like her neck or something like that, would they have even been able to save that girl if she would have hit her with that knife?
Probably not, because that knife was pretty big.
Yeah.
We don't know. That's
no, we don't know. We don't know.
We have no idea, But
he did what he did. I cannot see that from, at least from this position, unless there's a ton more of things that come in to say this guy did the wrong thing. He thought very fast and acted very fast and accurately. Why is this a bad guy? And then why does LeBron James decide to say, is that who LeBron James is saying that you're next, and puts up the cop. Yeah, puts up the hourglass thing for, like, what the hell?
Well, he actually posted a picture of that police officer with the hourglass next to the statement that said, "You're next." Like, time's running down on you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if everyone's seen that. I'm gonna try to see if I can bring up something of that.
I like the question that somebody on my Facebook friend put up and said, "If that girl in pink was your daughter, how would you feel? Would you be happy that he saved your daughter's life?" I like I said, some people, they have like this tunnel vision. They cannot see things from any other point of view. They actually can't. Their brain is not capable of doing it.
I seen a post from a gentleman who's a firearms instructor, and Hank knows him very well. And he put it up there talking about, the situation, and there was a bunch of comments on there. Oh, well, he could have taken a less lethal route and shot her in the leg or shot her in the butt, something like that. Well, if he would have shot her in the leg or the butt, with all that adrenaline that was pumping through her at that moment, she still would have been able to stab that girl.
Oh my God. I'm so glad you just said that.
Yeah.
So that, AM PM situation. I was just telling you the 7-Eleven store thing
Mhm.
that I was just
No, it's
talking
good now.
about.
I know. I got it now. I got it.
That situation, it hits on what you just said as far as like forward motion, and
Hmm.
could a taser have stopped that? Could a leg shot have stopped that? I'm going to tell you, I can't say for sure, but I don't think so. When the situation I was in, this guy had a gun in his pocket, and I had my gun on his chest,
Yeah.
and I knew when you're in the situation is different. If you're watching a movie, you'll think, oh, he's got him. He's got the gun on him. He's got the drop. He's got him. But no, and
you can't take those kinds of chances in that situation.
you can't. This guy could have, if he wanted to shoot me, if he was stupid enough to actually go for it, we both would have been shot. That's the end of the story. Okay, he that movement right there to pull that gun out is crazy fast.
Hmm.
And so to think that, oh, it would have stopped the forward. No, when somebody's adrenaline is moving like that and they're going in for to be honest with you, I'm surprised the shot stopped it.
Hmm.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
honest truth. I'm surprised that the shot actually stopped her forward motion.
Yeah. So the thing here, and I don't know. I see someone posting a comment in regards to this, which I don't really understand how accurate that is. But here's the thing: we've seen video of even cops in situations with someone moving towards them or attacking them, and they're trying to shoot that person. The person keeps moving. What's going on? What was going on here? This young woman that got shot. She had no respect for the fact that cops showed up there. It doesn't matter to me how you got into the situation, right? How this thing started, who was fighting who's doing what to who, doesn't matter. When the cops are on the scene, okay, they have a job. Yeah, they have a job. They have an authority when they're there. If things happen
Right.
after that police officer gets there, someone's going to go, wait a second, you're the police officer, you're on the scene. Why didn't you do something about this? So he doesn't, that even if they told him something on the way there, it doesn't matter. When that police officer gets there and he sees this scene and he sees these people fighting and someone has a knife and they're saying, I'm going to kill you with this knife, he has to act on that. It doesn't matter who was technically in the right or wrong. If you pull that story out into a long string, it doesn't matter. What does he know about that? His perspective is getting there, and you're not respecting the fact that he's there. You're still going into whatever you're going into. That's the only thing that person can act on in that moment.
And I think he
You're
was the only one on
you're
scene
wrong.
during.
You're wrong no matter what to
Yeah.
certain people. Okay. If he would have not fired the shot and that girl stabbed her and killed her, the news would have changed to saying white cop doesn't care about black lives, allowed girl to
Yep.
be killed right in front of
Yeah,
him.
man. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what he did, they're going to try to attack him. It's it's
Yeah.
a loss no matter what.
This is why we have regardless of what we think, like people I think don't understand how I don't think everyone really sits down and analyzes things and tries to look at it three-dimensionally. Why does a community have a police department? Who runs the police department, right? So you've got your chief of police or your sheriff or whatever it is, and he's directly in charge of those people. Someone's in charge of him. Your mayor, city council, they're in charge overall of what's going on with that police department. And the people who are in charge of them are the voters. The people who live in that place, in that area, in that city are the voters. And they hire these politicians who run these police departments, right? So why do you have them? You have them there for a reason. You give them authority to do things about things that happen like this. And this is what you expect. If you walk away from them, you're going to have this happening. It's going to be a lot worse. What you're going to see happening here, right? And if you really want it, then you can like they say, man. If you really want it, you could get it. But this is a prime example of a police officer doing what, in my opinion, he should be doing. even if I was on the wrong end of that, if I was somehow mad, even if those people provoked me and I was mad, when the cops get there, you need to chill out.
Right.
Period.
Yeah. But the thing that's funny is how do we get to a situation where someone like LeBron James, regardless of, I mean, it's complicated, right? If someone tells him stick to playing basketball, that person's racist or whatever because they told him stick to playing basketball and all that kind of stuff. He's interjecting himself into this. When you get on the stage, whatever happens, you ask for it. You're on the stage.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So he's interjecting himself into this. Why would he do this? I mean, let me see if I can show this again. When I saw this, I actually had to go, you know what? I'm just gonna chill before I respond to this. I'm gonna wait. I saw this last night when I got home. So you're next. Here's a hourglass, hashtag accountability, and he's showing the police officer. This is LeBron James. This is a superstar. Not just a basketball player. This guy has a big movie that's coming out. You know, the news listens to this guy. People listen to this guy. A lot of people listen to him. Why would he do something like this? And why would we just like brush over that and pretend that didn't happen?
Maybe his ego is stretching a little far beyond his brain, you know. Maybe he feels like his relevance just isn't there enough and he needs to jump on some kind of bandwagon to boost his popularity even more.
I had a buddy who made a post that said, if you're afraid of teenage girls, you shouldn't be a police officer. And I responded, he wasn't afraid of her. She wasn't attacking him. His mortality was not in question here. He shot her because she was trying to kill someone else. He responded to me and said, oh, I did not know that. I was told something completely different. I thought she was attacking him, and I said no.
Because
that's
the media is being, so people in the media and people who are in a position. How many tens of millions or hundreds of millions of people follow LeBron James? So they're saying things, and people are paying attention to that. I mean, what was it? I think I saw somewhere Joy Behar said the cop should have shot in the air. What the hell are you talking about? So he should shoot in the air while this girl is getting stabbed? How's that?
Right.
What kind of sense does that make to you?
No.
And that's going to stop her adrenaline rushing forward motion?
Yeah, but why would the question of this is why would these people are for a fact going to get away with it? I mean, the media is already covering up what LeBron James has done and what other people have called for. I think Maxine Waters waded into the waters of this nonsense, right? Why is the media going to let those people get away with it? But if Trump, for example, or someone on the right or someone who's conservative does something like this, or even me for that matter, right? I'm nothing big. But if I say something like this, it's like, nope, that's it. You have to get shut down. You have to lose every kind of access like this you possibly have. Why does LeBron James still have access like this when he's openly calling, you know, or threatening for someone here? Why does he have that?
Right. Well, because he's a big superstar, you know, superstars can get away with whatever they want. Apparently, and that's the message that is being sent out there. Like, okay, your Democrat politicians can say whatever they want. That's the message they're sending.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly believe we can all say whatever we want here. I think we can all say whatever we want about things. But the hypocrisy here is that if someone else, if any, you just let's pull a name out of a hat, right? If you pull a name out of a hat. Okay, if Louder with Crowder, okay, if Steven Crowder would have made a post about someone and put, you know, you're next, and put a hourglass and everything there,
he'd be crucified.
threat, he would get red flagged, arrested, you know, all kinds of stuff. No, we're pulling whatever's where you can't get on a platform and all this kind of stuff. Now, I'm not saying that this is what we should do, but how are we living in a world, how are people accepting that someone even more powerful than Steven Crowder, LeBron James, this is just a reality, can make that same threat, and we're just like, oh, yeah, you know.
Echo chambers are dangerous.
Yeah.
They really are. and I believe that when you are seeking information and you're only seeking it from your own bias, um,
Mm-hmm.
down the road, this is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna punish him. And what's the irony in it all is this accountability thing that he put up. Well, that's now reversed. Accountability, LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Accountability. You put something out there that you now realize was wrong. Accountability.
Well, I mean,
Is
yeah, but then
are we
he's
going to get an apology? Are we going to get
well, from what I see
anything?
from his tweet here, he's like, so let me see if I can throw this up here for you guys. He says, "I'm so damn tired of seeing black people killed by police. I took the tweet down because it's being used to create more hate. This isn't about one officer, it's about the entire system, and they
Oh,
always use our words to create more racism. I'm so desperate for more accountability." And then
so instead of saying my
someone in there
bad,
says, yeah, but someone says, you're the one creating more hate in this situation. Exactly.
Right.
Are you trying to tell me that if LeBron James, and I've said this before, man, I've said this before, and I'm not trying to say LeBron James doesn't give money to charity or anything like that. This guy is practically a billionaire, right? I'm sure he gives
correct,
money to charities and all that kind of stuff. You want to actually do something here? Stop tweeting about shit. Okay?
right,
Go out and actually do something. You can act if you're worried, pick a police department somewhere.
Yeah.
Pick the police department involved in this case with George Floyd. Go there and do something.
Yep.
Actually
right,
participate in that. Actually ride around with those guys and see what they have to deal with every day. Find out what those people need. Find out why the mayor and the city council aren't doing anything. Why aren't they hiring the right cops there? Why aren't they training them properly? Why aren't they compensating them properly? Why aren't they supervising them properly so that
Right.
if there is a police officer that has a history of problems, you're doing something? Actually find out, LeBron, you're the one who has the power to do something about this. You can actually go to these places and do something about it. If you're so tired of this, as you say, if you're so tired of black people being killed, why don't you go to Chicago? Why don't you go to LA to exactly where the problems are and face the truth that black people are killing black people
Hmm.
more
right.
than white police officers are killing black people? Why don't you
Right.
find out why that's happening and talk to the people who that's happening to?
Well,
Go ahead,
it's way
Scott.
cooler and more astute to be a keyboard warrior than to actually be somebody who is a person of action.
It's I mean, honestly,
Absolutely.
I would like to see these guys who have the power actually do something.
Right.
I would like to
Yeah.
actually see them do something about it. There are people who are trying to help folks out there. There are people who are trying to help black people specifically. How about you actually help those people out? How about you actually support
Right.
them, listen to them, give them some money, be a voice for them?
Education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Education is part of is a big problem. I don't mean school education. I mean,
Hmm.
look, he's so far away from our world. And when I say our world, I mean, Pro 2A guys. He's so far away from that.
Mhm.
If he had if he had the information we have,
Hmm.
maybe he would take some of that money and use it to help train the officers.
Hmm.
Okay, because we
Hmm.
know that they lack that in a major
Yes.
way,
Hmm.
right? And if you're it's like that, if you really care, how come you're not trying to act like you said, go
Do
to the
something.
actual, what do you guys need? What do you need to help things get better? But that's not where he's at. He can't even say I apologize. He can't even say, oh, I may have
No.
spoke wrong.
No,
I would have respected him so much for that.
thank you. Exact point. If like you were talking to the guy who made that statement, right? And you pointed it out to him and he didn't try to deflect it on you. He said, "Oh, you know what, man? I didn't actually see that."
Right.
That's
Right.
how you're supposed to do it. You messed up. I mess up all the time, you
Hmm.
know? So I wake up in the morning and I messed up, right? The thing is that you have to be willing to look at yourself and go, you know what? I messed up. Well, if he wants to
Right.
stop the hate, he should deal with it right there where you were perpetrating, where you were pushing the hate forward. You need to say, you know what? I messed up right here. I didn't really know
Right.
what's going on in this situation, and that's wrong of me, and that's why I took it down because I did and said the wrong thing, and stuff like this should never
Right.
happen. Go ahead,
Well,
Scott.
you notice he also put up hashtag accountability, and he's not taking accountability for his actions.
Exactly.
What do we need
Exactly.
anything else? It's all here. Life is so succinct, man. This is one of the things I think about life that's so perfect. It's all within this bubble. This bubble of this post of what he put in there, it's all within that. But he can't see it, and people can't see it. I'm not trying to take anything away from LeBron or anyone else who's looking at these things. But really think about what you're doing. If you really want to do something about something, get up and do something about it.
Right.
That's right.
Be
That's right.
about it. Stop talking about it. And especially when, it's funny that there's a lot of people who think that black people are disenfranchised around the world. I have a hard time myself thinking that, because I was born in a country that was run by people that look just like me. And I've lived in Nigeria, for example, where, that's where we come from as Black Americans, people here in America, people in the Caribbean. We come from West Africa. I've lived in a West African nation run by by our people, and I've seen what it does. So the idea that we're disenfranchised is nonsense. And in the case of LeBron James, the kind of money, and power that he has to make things happen, to actually make a difference, I really do wish these guys would take that. I'm not just saying it. I'm not trying to, make any kind of point here. That guy's never going to hear what I'm saying. LeBron James is never going to hear what I'm saying here. He doesn't actually give a shit about that. And to me, it's so obvious, because if he really cared, he would go there and he would pick a place, go there and do something about it. The real reason why he won't do that and why people won't do it, because if you have to go to a neighborhood and drive around with those cops to see what it is to be a police officer, you will shut your damn mouth after that. Because if he had to be a cop and go out there, and deal with these situations, he wouldn't be there without a gun. And if he had to deal with some of the situations that these guys are going into, he would pull his gun and pull the trigger as well. Now, I'm not saying that there's police officers that clearly do the wrong thing.
Oh yeah.
Right? And there's clearly bad police officers out there as well. But you have to get into the mix of this if you want to actually do something about it. Because this is how you identify it. You have to get in there and see what these people have to do. You think, is it just white guys who are cops out here in America? There's plenty of black police officers, and they have to go through this stuff as well.
I'll tell you what, just yesterday, a guy said something like, how come we never hear about black officers and this, that, and the other? And he was trying to make some silly point, but I posted 2 links. Mm-hmm. I posted a link of a black cop who killed a white woman who was attacking him with scissors. Mm-hmm. And he was, found innocent in that situation. He did the right thing. And then I posted the link of the black cop who accidentally shot the white woman that scared him. And he was wrong and went to jail. And you have 2 black cops, 2 different situations, both shot someone. One was acquitted, the other one went to jail. Mm-hmm. There you go. It's
those
not just
do not make the mainstream media.
Thing. Yeah.
That
doesn't fit the narrative, is what Scott said.
It doesn't make the mainstream media.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and that's why they
cares
never heard
about
of it. That's what's crazy. They never heard of it. Just like, for instance, we rarely hear when a good guy stops a bad guy with the firearm because they don't want to cover that part.
Yeah.
Right.
When
it's all about the AR-15 doing the damage, and that's where the views and the money's coming in at.
Yeah. So some people are gonna have to forgive me for not having the specific name here, because this happened to me when this happened back in the 80s, right? So I graduated high school in 1988. There was a guy I went to school with, a black guy. And when we graduated high school, he went into, it's New York City. Lots of people graduate and then wind up in the police department, So that's what he did. And I saw him about a year and a half after we graduated, and I was trying to, he wasn't doing well, and I was trying to figure out what was going on with him. And he was telling me, man, you probably will never see me again. And I was like, what do you mean? So basically, as a police officer, he went on top of a building. There was something going on there. He went on top of the building. There was a black kid there with a gun. and he didn't want to shoot that kid. The kid shot him first, and then he shot back, and he killed that kid. But the bullet that went into him, there was a fraction of that bullet that they couldn't find, and it was slowly working its way towards his heart. The circumstances of that shooting, and this is back in the 80s, because of what happened, it never became a big deal. No one ever put it out there because it was a black police officer and a black kid. And he was in the right, but he wound up killing that kid, right? But he was in the right. And, he told me, he was like, man, this really like messes me up because the mayor and all these people, they didn't stand behind me and I'm here and I don't know if they're ever going to be able to find that piece of that bullet that's moving towards my heart. This happens every day, and no one talks about that, and no one thinks about that. The media is like, people, you have to wake up and realize that the media is not on our side. They are trying to subjugate us by showing things this way. If we had any kind of honest, fair media, they would show you guys the reality of what's going on here, and they would try, if they really cared. They don't care about these black people either that are getting killed. They don't care.
Nope.
It's just a
It's
means
all
to
about
an end.
money.
Yeah, it's just a means to an end for them.
There you go. It's the money. Follow the money. That's where it's at. They have it down to a science. What gets them the most views, the most attention, so that the dollar bills roll in. Whatever that is, follow it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, let me see here. I don't know if you guys have some other stuff do you want to add to this. I do want to switch over and go to some other things before I get more upset. But
we never talked about the post office thing yet.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, absolutely. We promised people we were going to talk about post. Also, there's this little thing I'm going to share with you guys. This time you're going to get this for free. But if someone gives us some money here, you can hear this whenever you want to. Just listen to this.
Money, 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 money.
Who is that? Who is that golden voice?
I have no idea.
That's you. Gorillas and guns. So anyway, we said this last week, and I just wanted to let you guys know that we said we're going to take out that audio from there, and we're going to put it in. So, if anyone is kind enough to give us a couple of shekels here, I can do it automatically. You can save the golden voice there.
That's right. Come on, give Hank some money. Come on, give it up.
Now, of course, people are probably going to still want like a live performance if you're on here, but
oh, okay.
Yeah, so you might as well get ready. So, okay, you're right. The story that we were going to talk about is the iCOP thing, and which is kind of in line of what we're talking about here. iCOP. Let me pull this story up here so I can share it with you guys. Yeah, so here we go. I will pull it up right now. Boom. So if you search this, you can just actually search iCOP, iCOP. There's a whole bunch of different stories, but here's this one. This one's from Salon. Regardless of what you guys think about it, is the post office spying on you? USPS covert operations may monitor social media posts. Okay.
Now, why does the post office have a division that spies on people on the internet?
You know what, Scott? What is the matter with you? You're asking such a logical question.
I mean, aren't they just supposed to deliver us our mail? I know they have a law enforcement division, obviously, for mail fraud and things like that. But what does social media have to do with the U.S. Postal Service?
Right. So here we go. This is exactly why we'll go into this story here. Here, I'll pull up the one from the Sun because I don't know, people might not like Salon or whatever, which I
got the insider one up myself.
Yeah, spying mailman U.S. Postal Service is running secret program called iCOP to spy on American social media posts. And I think the reason when we dig into it here is that they're looking to figure out when conservatives could potentially do something like what happened at the Capitol again. So that's what this is all about. The U.S. Postal Service law enforcement arm, and I've told you guys on the show before, there's tactical units inside of the Postal Service. Some of it I understand, right? There's certain cases and things like that they deal with, and some of it I don't. But anyway, the it says here has purportedly been keeping close tabs on U.S. social media posts by secretly launching a program called iCOP, Internet Covert Operations Program, according to a report by Yahoo News. And that's who led with it. I did reach out to John Crump, and I think he's looking into this. The publication cites a privately circulated government bulletin from March detailing how analysts are tasked to mine an array of social media platforms such as Facebook, Parler. This is one of the reasons why they let Parler come back on again, by the way. Parler, Telegram, amongst others, and flag potentially inflammatory postings. Afterwards, they are to disseminate the relevant research through government agencies. iCOP analysts are currently monitoring these social media channels for any potential threats stemming from the scheduled protests and will disseminate intelligence updates as needed, the bulletin reads, according to Yahoo News. The Big Brother-esque effort appears to be deployed ahead of politically charged gatherings to mitigate the potential for civil unrest. I don't know if they're actually using this when it comes to like BLM or any of these other things, Antifa, etc.
But it seems like they're only going to the conservative websites.
Right. Yes.
Other than Facebook, but I'm sure they're looking at only conservative people on Facebook.
Yeah.
Why would they be doing this instead of any other law enforcement agency? Why them?
Why is this being done? That's a good question, but why is it being done at all?
Right.
Right. Well, it could be my bias. One of the things that I thought about immediately when reading this is guns, I guess. Just this, are they trying to follow where's the ghost guns going? Where's the ammo going? Who's selling it? That kind of thing.
This could branch out to anywhere. There's no end to this. There's no end to this. This is just what we're seeing.
Right.
Yeah, this is just what we're seeing here. There's potentially no end to this, man. They can use this for anything. They should not be allowed to do this. I agree with you. The post office has no jurisdiction over this, I think, in any way whatsoever.
Right.
But
I mean, isn't the post office not even really a government agency? It's like a private entity, right?
but isn't it? It's in. I thought it was under federal.
I think it's still under federal jurisdiction, but I'm pretty sure it's still considered a private entity.
There's a lot of weird things going on
having
here.
That law for whatever that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
It just doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, something extra's going on. That's how I feel.
I think people need to take a closer look at this and find out exactly who they're spying on, why, what information they're keeping, all of that kind of stuff. Probably we don't need the post office whatsoever.
Right.
I definitely would say that. I would say in an age, with FedEx and UPS and even Amazon, I don't really think we need the post office. So
yeah, the only thing I get in my mailbox from the post office is junk anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So let me do this though, because there are some. Now I don't know why. Okay, armament and access stuff is grayed out, but guess what? I gotta hit this.
Money, 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 money.
So armament and access gave us a couple of bucks. He says, "Here's some cash." Door cank. I'll take it. I don't care. Boss Hog also. Let's do it again.
Money, 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 money.
He says, "I'll give a couple for that." There you go, for Boss Hog. Thank you. Appreciate it. Man, that's the money maker. Did you ever think your voice would be making money, Scott? Did you ever think that?
Back in the day, in my younger days, I thought so because I was in a band and I, played rock and roll and I did all that stuff. But
mysterious ways, man. Mysterious ways.
We had lots of mysterious ways back then.
Yeah. Joe the Boss says, this is like the hip hop cops that monitor hip hop artists for illegal activities in the late 90s and early 2000s. Yeah. Why did that exist at all?
Right.
And there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. There's a lot of stuff that's connected to that, and even what happened to Biggie and Tupac, and police officers were involved in that. And then also they couldn't figure the whole thing out. I don't know if so I know you're not necessarily into hip hop, right, Scott?
No, I mean
Yeah.
I'll hear some of it. It's really got to catch my ear,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm not really into it.
Yeah.
I'm a heavy metal guy.
Yeah. Len Holt says royalties, royalties. Okay. One of these days when I see Scott, I'll buy him a sandwich.
That's
the
right.
royalties right
When you come up in your van to Virginia, we'll hang out. We'll supply the ammo on the range when we shoot at the range.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I will. I'll bring you some ammo. So
The nice thing about it is we
Mm-hmm.
don't have to pay for range time because it's just right in my backyard.
Oh, well, there you go. That's awesome.
Gosh, that's heaven.
Yeah. So the thing is that, so with Biggie and Tupac, they both got killed and no one solved what happened to them. And the way that it actually wound up being solved, I think there's a movie coming out that Johnny Depp is in. I don't know if anyone's seen the trailer for that.
No.
But there's a movie coming up about this. Tupac got killed first, and they couldn't figure out what happened. And then Biggie got killed, and they couldn't figure out what happened. And Biggie's mom was suing the LA Police Department. So, and it was a massive lawsuit, right? That she was getting ready to file against them. So the LA Police Department got a former detective who was, now like a private investigator or something, and he was really good, and they hired that guy to figure out what happened. This is all on, what is the name of that thing? What's the name of that guy that talks to all the hip-hop guys, Lola? Vlad TV. Yeah, you can find this all on Vlad TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, this investigator went and dug up all this stuff to find out what happened, and he found out that there were a bunch of cops involved in this and working for both sides, and this is all related to the whole war that was going, like East Coast, West Coast thing that was going on between Suge Knight and Puffy. And they found out
Right.
that the people responsible for Biggie and Tupac being dead is Suge Knight and Puffy. So basically, Puffy had something to do with Tupac. He was funding the guys who wound up killing Tupac. And what was happening there is Suge Knight had people every time that the Bad Boy artists came out to LA, they were robbing them, and they had gangs doing that. So Puffy was giving money to rival gangs to do stuff to them, and that's
To
how
the
that
Crips.
yeah, and that's how stuff wound up happening there, and that took out Tupac, unfortunately. And then Suge Knight decided that if Tupac wasn't alive, Biggie couldn't be alive either, and did the same thing. And so all of this came to light because they didn't want to pay off Biggie's mom in this big thing. And then when they showed her all this evidence, she dropped the case. So it's just weird
Wow.
how all this stuff was going on and what's tied into there, and how it was, completely useless. And I think it's the same thing that we're going to run into similar things here with the post office being able to do this and tracking people like this. Inevitably, they're going to abuse this, and they're going to use it to go, not like they're saying, and they should not be using it for that reason. It's none of their business. People talking to each other and like, hey, let's have a rally, let's do this and that, right? If they're not, there's already agencies who can deal with something if you're planning to do something illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, they're going to
it
use
should
this
be-
against people. That's what this is all about. This is going to be abused really badly.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Hank,
Yeah.
you missed
Yeah.
a few super chats, but there's a request out there that
Okay.
they want to hear you sing it this time.
Oh no.
Ah,
Okay.
ah, ah,
We're gonna have to. Let me get this from B Tamp real quick, and then I'm gonna get to that. He says, you could all make money reading books. Companies hire people with good voices to record audiobooks. Yeah, I'll take it. I don't know where I'm gonna find the time.
I'm a lousy reader, so it would never work for me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let's see. So Special K gave us some money. Here we go.
Money, 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 money.
He says, for the man with the I don't know why I put in the laugh, but every time I hear the laugh, I want to laugh also.
It just makes you want to giggle.
Yeah, that's all of us
Right.
laughing. So we're all technically in that. But he says, for the man with the golden voice. There you go. That's from Special K. Thank you. Boss Hog did it again. And he says, Jay Prince talked about that in his book.
Money, 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 money.
There you go. I don't know. That's Rob
Yeah,
Mills at the
but-
end.
Yeah.
The last surviving person that was in the car that shot Tupac, he he gave it all out. He admitted it all.
Yeah.
Puffy was giving them money, and the guy Orlando Anderson actually fired and shot and killed Tupac. It's all out there now.
You know what's funny about that? Everyone involved in that is dead except Puffy and Suge Knight.
Right.
That's
right.
sad.
That's a trip. Yeah. That's wild.
I mean, and Suge Knight's in jail, and he probably would never come out of it, and he shouldn't. You know, but Puffy got away with it, and he's always doing stupid ass comments. And I've told people this in the past. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but I worked at a hospital a long time ago, and Puffy came in there, and they said that the story at the time I remember was that he cut his wrist on a champagne glass, is what he said, or he was in a club and his hand went through like a table or something and he cut his wrist. But I actually knew that the doctors that worked on him, and they were telling me, nah, that guy tried to kill himself. And everyone,
I believe it.
And people were like, well, why did he try to kill himself? Boom. Because he was responsible for all of this stuff with the nonsense that he was getting into. Yeah, and then it pisses me off when he tries to chime in on things going on in America. I'm like, dude, the stuff that you've done, the artists, the creative people out there that you've destroyed their lives and all that kind of stuff, I don't even want to hear from you. You know?
Yeah.
So let's see. Judd M gave us some money. He just says money bags.
Money. Money.
Thanks, Judd.
You were supposed to sing that one, I think.
Oh, wait. I didn't see where that said I was supposed to sing it. That's not in the writing.
The comment right underneath that one was the request. Yeah.
Where is it? Let's see. Where's the request that someone said we should? I don't see it. Who said it?
Was it Dan Hayshu?
Oh, Dan hates you. Where is that? He says, "Well, is it where he says, well, so far you've heard my voice, but I brought two friends along, and next on the mic is my man Hank. Come on, Hank, sing that song." Okay, next one. I'll do the next one, and I'll play.
Come on, somebody, give up some money. Give up some money. We want to hear Hank sing.
Yeah, we're not shilling you guys at all. We're not trying to milk you guys for money at all. This is why. What's the name of that place? The Kipley-Stannies? Kliblitzy? What's the name of that place I mentioned later, Lola, that I already forgot the name? That's why those people think we're so awesome. So I forgot where we were now. See? Now I'm totally... Where were we? Oh, we're talking about this post office thing.
Yeah.
Where do you think the story goes? Go ahead, Scott.
I'm wondering if the post office has an arsenal like the IRS. Oh, there you go.
Oh boy.
Hank and Lola duet.
Oh boy, I should never do this. Okay, we thought money. There you go.
There we go.
Money.
There you go. And I'll play that. And here's another one from Special K. He says Hank and Lola duet. Oh, I don't know. I don't think you're gonna get Lola to do it. Money.
Yeah. We're killing LV Louis Cypher over here with this. Money.
We're gonna do it.
Money.
Yeah, LV Louis Cypher says there's not enough booze in Vegas for me to deal with this assault on my airdrop. Come on, man. You're hearing those bling 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 craziness going on. Black Sword Shinobi said Hank sing. How was I? What do you guys think? How was that? Is it good?
Not bad.
Yeah.
No auto tune.
Especially without a warm up, I think you did pretty good.
You guys. Lola's heard me sing. She knows. When everyone's wondering, how did I get Lola? Skills.
I see.
All right, so listen,
I can picture Hank being like Pepe Le Pew. Come on, my lovely.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. So what were we saying about this? I think you said something there, Scott. Do you remember?
Yeah. If the post office, this iCOP has the same kind of arsenal like the IRS has.
Probably. I know one time I saw a post office guy at SHOT Show, and he told me, because he was telling me, he was like, yeah, they don't let us have suppressors, but we can have machine guns. And I was like, what tactical unit are you in? And he was like, oh, I'm in the post office. I work for a post office. I was like, hey, wait a second, you guys have tactical
Wow.
units? He was like, oh yeah, dude, we have tactical
Wow.
units. So
I was pretty surprised when I heard about the IRS, and now I'm hearing this about the post office. It's blowing my mind.
yeah.
Me too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of stuck. I don't get it. I'm just not understanding what the big need is for. Why can't they reach out to anyone else? I don't FBI, whoever. Like, what? I'm not understanding why they need this, and it's puzzling here.
Well, so okay, with the post office, I kind of understand why they have some kind of tactical units, right? Because they do mail fraud and stuff like that. I know they
Mhm.
do some
Right.
stuff with Secret Service. There's certain crimes that go on that falls under the jurisdiction of the post office. So I get that part of it. I don't understand why a lot of government agencies have tactical units like the FDA and all that kind of stuff. I don't get that, right?
Right.
I don't. There is no reason for the post office to have this department, this iCOP department, spying on people's social media at all. You
And
know.
even with like what you just said, with the CIA, like,
Hmm.
or not the CIA, but the um, what you just said. I don't know why I'm
Hmm.
drawing a blank here, but
Hmm.
why can't they outsource that to them? I
Hmm.
guess I need some time to really think about this, because the only
Hmm.
thing I can think of is honestly them trying to keep track of what they are against.
Hmm.
Okay, so like the whole ghost guns is the big thing right now, or P80 lowers,
Hmm.
and them being able to track who gets what, and what guns are going to who, and just
Hmm.
all the. That's the only thing in my mind, because again, with the Secret Service is what I meant. So
Hmm.
so as you said, if they are working with them, why aren't they just dealing with that? What do you guys need a tactical? I
We
I
have
need
to
I
we have
need
to
some
look
time to
into
think
we have
about
to
this,
look into a
because it
lot of
just
this.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we have to look into this now. But the post office thing probably goes to way back in the days. I mean, remember they were
Mhm.
carrying money and stuff like that. It was a federal
I
crime
understand that.
to
Right,
tamper with
right.
a mailbox and
Yeah.
everything. I'm not trying to rationalize it. I'm just saying, look,
No, understood.
there's definitely too many government agencies out there that have tactical units. When I was talking to Vince that was a former ATF agent, and I told him I don't think we need the ATF. He was like, well, then who's going to deal with it? I was like, what are you talking about? Look at all these tactical units that exist out there, or law enforcement
Right.
agencies that exist in America. Not just the FBI. There's all kinds of different agencies that are here. So
Yeah,
you
that's kind of where shotgun came from. I'm with you there.
yeah,
Riding shotgun, and
yeah,
keeping
Mhm.
the mail. I understand that.
yeah.
But what this ICOP thing, and tactical units, and spying
Hmm.
on us. Yeah, that one, I don't
Yeah.
get this.
Well, and
Yeah,
so
it seems
we
far beyond driven.
yeah, and
Right.
we're never gonna get a proper investigation into any of these things, even though it's become news and maybe somehow it'll wind up in Congress. They're not really gonna look into it, and it all goes back. I keep telling people, if you haven't seen Rogan talking to Snowden, it's one of the few
Oh
things that you can
yes,
still get from on YouTube from Joe Rogan.
absolutely.
Yeah, go and look at that. In the very early part of that, within the first 20 minutes, Snowden is talking about how after 9/11, there were things, rules, laws put in effect that most people are not aware of. Even congressmen and senators are not aware that we basically don't have a constitution. That these guys could do whatever they want to do, and people don't realize that, and no one's looking into it, because what if this actually came out like, hey, there's no constitution? Guess what would happen? Everyone would go, Yes, there is a Constitution, damn it.
Mhm.
And then where would that go to? Second Amendment.
Right. And I
Right.
heard something about that before, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not the fact that there's not a constitution. It's the fact that the United States is no longer a country; it's a corporation.
Well, I think it was
Right.
always a corporation, right? I mean, I think it's always kind of what was the thing that it goes back to? It goes back to piracy days. What was the Dutch East India Company or something like that?
Oh, the East India Trading Corp.
Yeah, and yeah, East India Trading Corp. I think that's the basis of starting America and lots of things. So I would say
Right.
to you that that's been going for a long time. There's a
Oh,
good
definitely.
there's a good documentary on Netflix about pirates. If you guys look at that, you'll see that the pirates were some of the people that first like put up democracy. You know, they had kind of a democracy on the ships, right? Like you couldn't just be the captain and be the king of everyone. Everyone that served on that ship had like one man, one vote kind of a thing.
Right.
And a lot of that turned into this, and they took that and they put that on islands. I think they started with what was it, like the Bahamas and places like that. They started doing those things, and it kind of like branched into this. So, but the thing is, we do have a constitution, right? I think it's
Right.
what makes America so great, this constitution that exists. And Snowden is putting forward the idea that, look, these people have basically ripped that down, and this is what allows them to do all these things, and people aren't really aware of it, and all of this stuff is just trickling out. This is the reason why no one would pardon Snowden, why Obama wouldn't
Right.
pardon him, and why Trump wouldn't pardon him, and they went in there and threatened him with whatever, like, hey, if you pardon this guy, we will. The Republicans told him, you pardon this guy, we're going to come down on you like a ton of bricks, right? So, but it's slowly leaking out there every day, and people in America need to realize that in the mind of these people who think that they rule us, there is no constitution.
Right.
Right.
You know, and the paper
Well-
is not the thing. The paper is not the thing. It's what's in our hearts that we realize there is one and that we're willing
Right.
to fight for it. Go ahead, Scott. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
And that was proven when Biden said that no amendment is absolute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, except no amendment says shall not be infringed at the end.
Right. Only
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what does he mean by that? What about the 13th Amendment is what I would ask him.
yeah.
You know, what about that amendment
Right.
that had to do with slavery? I mean, what are you what are you talking about? You know, is that not absolute? You want to go back to that? Well, the truth of the matter is, yeah, we're going back to slavery. They don't care. It has nothing to do with your race or anything
Right.
like that. Now, it hasn't had to do with your race for a long time.
It's all
From
about
the beginning.
absolute power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys? I don't know if you spoke about this on any previous episodes, but did you guys see what Charles Barkley said? Was it like last week
he
or
was
something?
good.
Did you
Okay.
see that? Yeah,
There was something.
I
Yeah,
really,
refresh my memory. I did see that he came
he,
out
he,
with
he
said
said
something.
something. He said something. Basically, he said, "I really believe that black people and white people, we're all really good people. Americans, we're all really good people, but it is the powers the that be the government, whether it's Republican or Democrat, they want control, and they want control of us, and they want to create that division to enhance their controls." I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he was he was saying, that we're good people, and all this race baiting and back and forth. I really believe we're all good people, but it's them who are causing a problem.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I did see him say that. What do you think about that, Scott?
I think he's pretty well spot on, and when he came out and said that, I was like, man, he's going to be in for a world of hurt on the from the liberals for saying it and standing up for actual freedom and liberty, and not going with the flow like they're supposed to, all these big stars or whatever. But he was absolutely right, and if we could get more people on that same mindset, things would be a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what whammy is all about. Exactly that.
Yeah, we are more alike than we are different. For sure, we're different.
Right.
People aren't the same. Exact
Hmm.
exact thing. People aren't equal either. We should be equal in the eyes of the law,
Right.
but we all have different skills, different abilities, strengths, weaknesses, all that kind of stuff. Men and women are not the same. A woman is not a differently shaped man. A woman is a completely different, beautiful, awesome creature.
Yep.
From a man. But what we still are more alike, and we have more in common with each other than we have that's different. But yes, there are people out there, and I don't look at politicians like, oh, because this guy's a Republican, he's on my side, or this is a
Right.
Democrat, they're my enemy, or they're on my side. They're all against us. The,
Yes.
the media doesn't give a crap about us. They're all against us, right?
Mhm. Right.
So, and because we are abdicating our power to them, the people who are in government and the people who control the government, we abdicate our power to them. That power gives them power and money, and then they rule over us. What do you think this whole exercise of the lockdowns and wearing the masks and all that is all about?
Right.
Yep. It's
Exactly.
to condition us to being used to being the slave.
Yeah, absolutely. To remind us, I was talking about like Wall Street Journal put out an article about how, on the lockdowns, we had less emissions and all this kind of stuff. And now it's going back up. So this is why they want to preserve the lockdown. This is the reason. What are we like April 22nd, right? 2021, still in lockdowns around the country.
Yeah. 2
Right.
weeks. 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah. You know, you don't have to wear masks. Oh, you know what? You got to wear masks. Actually, you got to wear double and triple masks.
Yeah.
Everyone has to get everyone has to get the vaccine. Oh, well, the vaccine's not really effective. Even if you get the vaccine, you still have to wear the mask. What the heck? What?
Right. So what good is it?
Right. Right.
And
Oh, you
now
can still get it.
Yeah.
and now they want you to have a passport showing that you had the vaccine.
Yeah.
Am I going
Not
to
happening.
plaster a gold star on my chest and walk around out in public, with my
No.
walk-in papers?
Well, I won't do it.
Yeah.
I won't do it. And so this is the problem with all of this, and I think the powerful thing about what Snowden was talking about there is that there's two Americas now. There probably always was, right? It's almost like if you're reading a Harry Potter story or other things like that, where they say, there's the world that you think exists, and then there's a world underneath, right? And which one of these is really the illusion? That's what's happening here. We think the world is supposed to be a certain way, but this is the reality of how they see the world. Think about, these guys talk about hubris. Think about the hubris of the political the politicians out there saying to us that it's insurrection for us to go to the Capitol.
Right.
Yet provoking for the last year and a half, provoking riots and cities burning down around the country, okay? And sitting and standing back while that was happening, while people were dying, while they were losing their businesses, people were being
Encouraging
assaulted.
it.
Yeah, encouraging that, and then saying it's insurrection for us to go to the Capitol.
Right.
And we just accept that. We just, it's insurrection. No, it's not. That's they don't have what we don't give them. If we give it to them, that's why they have it, and we could take it away.
That brings me to someone tried to initiate a bill here in Washington State. I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere, but someone tried to come with a bill that said before you can pass a law on anything, you have to do extreme research on whatever it is that you're trying to pass a bill on. So the bill was that they had to actually really research and understand what it was that they were trying to make change with before they could actually do it. They shot that down extremely fast. because that means they would have to actually learn about the Second Amendment, what it's for, the gun culture, etc. And they don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, that's too
Yeah.
much work. They'd rather
Too
just
much
write
work.
something that can affect people's emotions and then let everybody go, oh my goodness, and fall down on their knees and say, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It also goes back to where they said, like, oh, let's not worry about what's in the bill. Let's not worry about reading it. Let's just pass it.
Right.
This is the thing. Like, you don't need to know what's in there, because if you knew, you'd be scared.
That's
Right.
right.
So you don't really need to know what's in there. And so
Well,
basically, you just have to trust them, and you'll find out that you really don't have any authority except the one that you create.
yeah.
That's right.
And I think they purposely write these bills to be as confusing as possible. So the average person who starts reading it will be just like, I can't understand this, and give up.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. It's doublespeak. It's doublespeak.
Yep.
It's like some crap that we saw a couple of weeks ago, and I kept trying to say to people, the problem with this is it's doublespeak. And what it does is, when you speak like that, when you put out these disambiguous comments, right? You put all these things that are kind of going against each other. You're saying, I'm for this, but I'm against it in the same in the same sentence. What that does is allows you to deny everything.
Right.
Right.
And then come and say, you know what, you guys just don't understand me. I don't think you guys really understand. I think I'm on a higher plane, higher level.
Yep.
This is what we're talking about. Everything should be simple. The laws should be simple. I'm not saying we shouldn't have any laws. We should have laws. We should have
Right.
very few, very simple laws.
Yeah.
Right.
Plain. If we want to get fancy, then we can get fancy when it doesn't
Right.
affect other people. Go ahead, Scott.
See,
Sorry.
I'm going to use a word that's very.
Uh-oh.
It's a very controversial term. I'm going to say we need common sense laws, but real common sense, not the nonsense common sense that they like to put in there.
Yeah.
The stuff that they like to say is common sense, but they leave open for interpretation so they can interpret it any way they want at any given time they want. When it comes down to common sense is only one specific thing. And it's a very simple thing, but they complicate it, and they're the ones who really make it bad by extending that term of common sense, but using it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why do you guys think that? I think I completely agree with you. Why do you think that common sense has become a bad word?
I tell
Like
you
I said.
my cousin said to me once, he said, look, people are they're taking the word common sense and they're going a little too far with it. Here's common sense. If I hold this rock in my hand, when I let go, that rock's going to hit the ground. That's common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more, nothing less. Common sense is exactly that. That means it is common knowledge and understood to everyone all around.
Mm-hmm. It's self-explanatory. You don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Yeah.
it's very
So when
simple.
they get to talking about common sense with gun laws and this, that, and the other, that is.
Well, like in our community, saying the words common sense are bad words, right? They're fighting words. People, like, it's happened to me because I like, for example, my mom always said there's a difference between book sense and common sense.
Right.
There's people who have a lot of degrees and all of that kind of stuff, and they're idiots. They can't function.
Lynn Holt brought up a very good point, and it's become a weapon. He said common sense is a very effective weapon of the left, and that's why it's become a 4-letter word, is because it's being weaponized.
Well, they stole it. They stole it. I mean, in the beginning, like usually when we do this and we do jazz hands, and people are, well, you gotta do jazz hands. What's that all about? Is that some communist stuff? I'm like, dude, we're just breaking the ice.
Right?
It's just a way to
It's
break
fun.
the ice, to show that, yeah, we are not above being silly.
Right.
And really to say that, hey, this is entertaining. I got jazz hands from Fame. I used to love looking at Fame when I was a kid, because I like those dancing chicks, and the leotards and stuff. I think they look, So
see, I got a little quiet.
yeah. So But I thought it was a great thing. Like she made, I forgot her name now, but she made it was like, oh, do jazz hands or whatever. And I always tell people, look, we're taking it back from the communists, right? Because Felicia Rashad, this is the problem. They took common sense itself is a simple thing. Like you said, right? Like you said, everyone should be able to understand this is plain and simple. But these guys, the left did take it, did weaponize it, and now we're afraid, like, oh, don't say common sense because they said it. Who gives a damn? If they steal that word from you, they've taken its power from you, and now you can't even use it anymore. That's the point.
Right.
That's the reason why they adopt these things and start trying to throw it back in your face.
Right.
Right. And since when do words actually hold power? If they hold power to you, you are stuck in a trap.
It's just another way of trying to call somebody stupid at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like you said, the bad word, the fighting words. It's a way for them to go, you're stupid. Common sense. How do you stop it?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Let me get Mr. Mexability's comment up here.
Money, 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 money.
Oh boy, that's contagious. The Mexability says he gave us $5. Thank you, appreciate it. He says it's a religion and we're the sinners.
Wow, I like the way he put that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Check Your Six says common sense and logical thinking will not be tolerated in today's society.
Exactly. Real common sense, right? That won't be tolerated.
Right.
Yeah. And Richard Rasnick says common sense isn't common anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That always worries me. I know there's people who are like, yeah, we can't say that, we shouldn't say that anymore because these guys took it over. It doesn't matter, man. This is a mind game. And I would just remind everyone of what Bob Marley said, right? Only you can free yourself from mental slavery. Don't let these people play mind games with you and take things away from you like that, and then now you're afraid to say it or whatever because they've taken it. So, and that's the reason why I continue to do the jazz hands thing. And even though some people don't like it, it's like, no, we own it. We own it. We could take it back.
Right. And I believe in that theory firmly because I believe you are really the only one that can hold yourself down. When it comes down to it, you have to have the desire, the drive, the motivation to get yourself up and get yourself out there to change your own life. This whole stereotype crap. Stereotype is nothing more than a trap, and if you get stuck there, it's your own damn fault, nobody else's. But it's so easy to always point the finger that way than it is to point it this way. So, and that's where a lot of people are at fault. I did it myself for a long time when I was younger until I realized, hey, this is not any way to live, and I can actually do something about it. Me, nobody else, just me.
Well, ultimately, we all live through our own perspectives, right? And life is about perspective. We were born into this skin, whichever one it is we have. We were born into these bodies, these shells, and we see the world from our own perspective. And so everything that's happening to us, we can either be deliberate or accidental about it. We could either say, oh, it's not my fault. I was just born in a bad neighborhood and I was born into this. There's no way I can't get out of it. I can't fight my way out of this. This is where the Second Amendment comes in and where the community comes in when we're telling people, no, you could defend yourself.
Right.
You could climb out of that thing. Okay? You could be born, people are born in great, awesome, magnificent situations and they get stuck, and they get caught up. Yeah. And they lose their lives. There's no amount of money that can save you or even save your children. Ultimately, they can only save themselves. Right.
And let me add on to that. For example, like you said, it doesn't matter how much money you have, your situation. You look at Patrick Swayze and you look at Steve Jobs and you look at myself. I'm not rich by any means. And for whatever reason, I survived pancreatic cancer and they succumbed to it. And it doesn't matter if you're a billionaire, a millionaire, famous
Mhm.
actor, a nobody. Life is what it is, and you got to play the cards you're dealt. Do your best, with what you have. But excuses and being the victim mentality, that is a pet peeve of mine. And I really don't understand it. It bothers the hell out of me. But you got to fight and dig your way out. It doesn't. If you're far in, you dig your way out. If you're far up, try and stay up. But there, like you said, there's people that are born in the best positions and they fall down to hell.
Yep.
And it's life.
Right.
Yeah.
Shit happens, and you have to adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I think a lot of us fall into stinking thinking. I think we all do that. But look, in any given 24-hour period, right? Like it's 8:45 p.m. on a Thursday evening, right? So 24 hours from now, if we're all alive 24 hours from now, we all had the same time.
Yep.
That's right.
We all had the same 24 hours. Here's the difference. What do you do with it?
Right.
And there's no right or wrong answer with that. You do what you need to do. Do you need to go to sleep? Do you need to get some rest? Do you need to work? Do you need to work out?
I definitely need to do a little working out.
Listen, we all do. I do. You might need to do some cooking. You might need to do some eating. You might need to make some love. Whatever it is, we all have the same time, though, in that 24-hour period, right? And we all choose to do something with it. You choose to spend it with your family. You choose to spend it with your friends. You choose to spend it out there on the grind, trying to, climb out of the situation that you're in your life. You choose to do something with it. Someone out there in that 24-hour period is going to choose to throw their life away or choose to destroy someone else's life. This is a choice that we as human beings make. And we have to accept responsibility for that and not deflect it onto other people. Ultimately, it's us. We're the ones that are at fault. But we fall into the trap because we all want to believe that it is someone else. I remember there was a guy that I ran into in the barbershop, and he was really mad at me because he saw my videos and how I talk as a black guy. You know how black barbershops are. People out there, if you didn't see the movie Barbershop 1 and 2 and whatever, it's kind of real. People talk about whatever they want to. This guy was mad at me because he's like, "Oh, looking at your stuff, you're all about the white people." I was like, wow. I was like, really? That's what you think? You think I'm, that's where I'm at, And then he says to me, this is the real thing that was amazing that he said, because he's a black American and he knows I'm from the Caribbean. And he's like, the white man chose you over us. Like as a black man here in America, they took everything away from me and they chose to give it to you. I was like, what you're telling me is insane. Because, by the way, this guy has college degrees. He has a business, everything. He's not suffering. Okay? Right. And meanwhile, I'm a guy born in a third world country. I came to America like on a visa that I overstayed illegally. When I graduated high school, I couldn't even go to college. Like I had a full scholarship to go to St. John's. I could not take that because I was not here legally. So I couldn't go into the military. There wasn't anything I could do because I didn't want to mess up everything for my family. And then this person is trying to tell. I was like, who is the white person that chose me?
Right.
I've been there, man. I remember growing up, in the inner city, and I'd say, "Hey, I'm about to go hunting," and I would hear almost every year, "Hunting. That's white people stuff."
Yeah.
What?
I've been a victim. I've had that stupid thought in my mind before, man. Yeah, for real. Yeah.
It's a trip, and like I said, where my family is down in Arkansas, everybody hunts down there. Everybody's got a gun. Everybody hunts. My family actually comes from the same city that Bass Reeves was born in. So
cool.
we're all guns is a part of us. And it seems like in large cities, that's gone. And all of a sudden, I'm doing white people stuff.
In America,
Okay.
it's gone, unfortunately. Go ahead, Scott.
My question to that person would have been, have you ever watched National Geographic?
Why didn't I say that? Exactly.
It's a good response. There was another guy from the Caribbean that walked in and was looking at him like, "What is?" He was like, "What's happening here right now?" This guy was going off on me, and it's because of his mind. And this is a smart, intelligent, educated person. Your mind can turn against you, and you're right. You know, Eugene. I remember when I was younger and I was a doorman. At this place on the Upper East Side, there was a black guy that came in there. He came in limos every time he came in, right? And he had broken his leg. And through this whole process of him getting his leg healed up, we always spoke. I was a younger guy. This was obviously like an executive kind of dude. And he always talked to me, but we never talked about why he was in there. So once he was healed up and everything, he came back for a checkup, and he was talking to me when he was leaving. And I said, you know what? Can you tell me, like, what happened to you? How'd you break your leg? And he told me, oh, I fell out of a tree. And I said, you fell out of a tree? How'd you wind up in a tree? How'd you fall out and break your leg? He was like, oh, I was hunting. And I said to him, oh, I didn't think that black people actually hunted. And he said to me, he said, listen, let me tell you something, man. Don't ever let other people tell you what black people do and what they don't do.
Exactly.
That kind of like that. I don't know whether that guy knows that or not, but that changed my life, right? So it goes back to what you're saying. Like there's a thing that people don't realize how educated, how skilled black people are in America, and how much more so they were in the past before people started giving them convenient excuses to go, oh, I don't have to do this because this country is against me and I don't even care about this country and all whatever kind of craziness gets into our mind. No, we're all capable of amazing, great things, you know, regardless of where we come from, what we look like, our skin color, all that kind of stuff. We are convinced it's the easy way out in your mind for you to say, it's not me. Someone else is doing this to me.
Right. To point the finger. It's the easy way out to point the finger. You know, and like I said, you know, we were speaking earlier, Hank, is my father is a big reason for the way that I think and the way that my brother thinks. You know, it's work, get your ass out there and do what you need to do. Work, fight. You know, when he got shot, he became disabled from that, right? So it shattered his hip bone. He walks with the limp. He has a lot of problems from that, a lot. And he never went and, you know, said, I'm disabled and got a sticker and none of that. He worked 11 hours a day, 10 hours minimum a day, you know, sometimes 6 days a week, with what most people would call a handicap. And he didn't let that stop him. And we've seen that. And it's get your ass up and do what you got to do. There's no complaining. There's no, I can't, he did it. Or no, nobody can stop you. You're not a victim. The only person that can stop you is you.
Yeah. You know why I think he did that? Because it's just coming into my brain when you say it. He did it because he wanted you guys to see that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, and he wanted you to never have excuses.
That's
you
right.
know, it's the reason why I do what I do. I want my kids to see it, and I don't want to hear their excuses.
Right.
You know, because unlike what this kid who was born here in America, like Scott's saying, have you seen National Geographic? I've seen it. I was born in a third world country. I'm aware of what it is. I lived in Nigeria. I'm aware of what that is. You know, I lived in England for that matter. That's a first world country. I'm aware of what that is. It's not what everyone thinks it is. You know, but he wanted you guys to see it, man. And you know, I'm glad that you came on the show, man, and we got to talk about this because we can see the effects of that, and we can see that you guys learned those lessons. You know, you've taken that to heart. So it's a powerful thing, and I think it's what we all need to do. It's why we all need to keep fighting, because the best you can help yourself that way, but you can help the other people that you care about. You know, by staying in there. Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Range Bros TV says, He says, "I've heard that my whole life, and I'm in the South. This is combat gaming." Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy what people. Scott, I think you wanted to jump in there and tell us something.
Yeah, now I forget
Okay.
because we talked about so much.
Yeah, we've been going through a lot of things. Do you have
but I do
any?
gotta-
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I do gotta say one thing.
Mhm.
There's one phrase that I heard years ago that
Mhm.
really kind of changed my thought process,
Mhm.
and that was think for yourself and question authority.
Oh my God. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. My grandfather, he instilled that in me as well. That exact same thing that you just said, question everything. That was a game changer. That changed my life. And I did just that. When you do that, and it doesn't mean that you have to believe any which way, just question it. Don't assume it is. Don't assume that what you heard is right. Question it. Even little things. Patience is a virtue. Is it?
Yep.
Question that. Is it always? Like question everything. Yeah, that's big, man. I'm with you on. I'm with you.
Here's the greatest question I think that's ever been invented, and it's one word, and that's why.
Yep. I'm with you
You
there.
should always ask that. Yeah.
I mean, how when you've raised children, right, Hank? So what do they say anytime you say something? Why? Why?
Yep.
Yeah.
How do you learn? By asking why, by asking
Right.
the question and questioning
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. And
let me ask this question. Oh, sorry about that.
Go ahead. No, you go for it.
I was gonna say, do you have any kids?
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, the Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 3.
Okay. So are you
and
the
a
type of
granddaughter.
parent that gets annoyed and says, just do what I say? Or do you answer each question?
I answer each question. I mean, they got to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I was raised. So and you're not going to raise a person unless you can fill them with knowledge of every question they ask. What kind of parent would you be if you don't answer their questions? You just say, "Oh, just because I said so." So if I do everything just because somebody said so, where would I be?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would say this, like my father's far from perfect. My parents were far from perfect, but one thing that my parents did is always allowed us to speak and ask questions. And I remember one time as a kid, I was in a situation where one of my uncles said, he was saying something crazy and I was questioning him. And he was like, "Listen, children should be seen and not heard. If you keep talking, I'm going to beat your ass," or something like that. My father was like, "Let me explain something to you. If you ever say that again to my son or you lay a hand on him, I will kick your ass. As a matter of fact, get the hell out of my house."
Right.
Because now he was doing that. This older guy was doing it because I said something to him or asked him a question, and challenge his authority on something, and this is all he could resort to. Right. So the thing is, and I think that's the same thing with kids. Kids are saying, "Why? You want me to do this? Tell me why. Why do I have to brush my teeth?
Right.
Right.
Why do I have to do this?" And if you're not able to sit down there and have that discussion with them, and your reaction is, "Well, you just need to do it because I say you have to do it," you're not going to help your kids get out of whatever problems they have.
You're raising a mindless drone at that point.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, if you don't know, like, here's what I do. My kids ask me something and I don't know. I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Let's go look that up.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Exactly.
Because now I want to know too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how
knowledge
you
is
discover.
power. I mean, the more you know, the more you grow.
Yeah. Now you sound like one of those commercials. You know what? Those were good. Those were good commercials back in the days. They've changed it now. Oh, the cuckoo clock's still going. Damn it. That thing.
Yeah,
that's what
like
happened to me not too long ago. Going to Cabela's. I went to Cabela's to get some scope rings for the Vortex Viper I just got, and the guy's like he's handing me all these Leopold part said, look, it's a X bolt, so it doesn't use the same as a Remington 700 for per se. It's one piece. It's a ring. It's a one piece, and it's four screws that go in. And
Mm-hmm.
it's each ring is two pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Certain, no, it's not. It's one piece.
Mm-hmm.
No. I've been working here. He's an older guy. No, I know what I'm talking. Sir, it's not. And I have to show him a picture. He wanted to be the I know it all. I work
Authority.
behind a gun counter
Yeah.
kind of guy. Well, I then go over to this young lady and, hey, can you help me? Do you know anything about? Yes. You're gonna have to order it. We don't have it here. Right? She went straight to it, and then I go, okay, well, Tally versus Leopold. And the answer she said, I don't know. She said, I'm familiar with Leopold, but Tally, I haven't worked with it a lot, so I can't tell. And I told her, I said, I want to tell you, I respect that what you just did. I'm so glad you said that. I was getting the opposite over here, and you're younger and wiser. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss the local shop that we had here in town. There was this old man, Joe, that worked there. And I mean, he was just a plethora of knowledge, and he was always so nice, so calm, so open. I mean, and you know, it's his fault I have so many things in my collection now because I just always wanted to go there and talk with him. You know, he was great.
Yeah. So did he know everything literally, or like were there times when he
He
was like,
didn't
"Hey,
know
I don't know."
everything. If there was something he didn't know, he'd tell you he didn't know
Yeah.
right off the
That's
bat.
what you
But
have
I
to
mean,
do.
he knew a lot of stuff. I mean, 50 years in the industry, he knew a lot of stuff, and he wasn't shy about telling. And he wasn't cocky. He didn't come off with an attitude. He was just a nice, even keeled guy, and he would have an honest conversation with you.
Yeah. You should never
There's
be ashamed
someone,
to say that you don't know. I see LV Louis Cipher saying that. Say, listen, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. Maybe
exactly.
you can read me in on exactly what that's about instead of making up a thing and lying. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and it's respected. Just you feel like you have to know it all. But touching on what Scott just said, I was working with when I used to manage this gun range um, called Champion Arms, and there's a store connected to it called McAllen's Defense, great store. But when I used to work there, there was a guy, the gunsmith. His name was Peter Dunn. He was the chief engineer of Detonics. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Detonics handguns. The first subcompact 1911 done right that was actually
Detonics.
produced. Yeah, Detonics. It was started in Seattle, and then they went to Georgia, I believe, later on.
It
But
was called
Peter
Detonics
Dunn,
Arms.
yes, Detonics, and
Oh,
it's
there's
a
a whole. They do
small
1911.
1911.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
the rear sight's pushed forward, and the purpose for it is so that when you draw with your thumb. There it goes. You draw with your thumb, and you swipe back on the hammer with one draw. As you pull out, was their thought process on building it. But he was the chief engineer of that firearm,
Okay.
and this guy. Look, nobody's perfect. I'm sure there's stuff he doesn't know, but we don't know what he doesn't know. This guy's knowledge of firearms it's unbelievable. In Forgotten Weapons is his knowledge is crazy, and Peter Dunn is above that. This guy sometimes he would talk and lose me. And I know my shit, but this guy would lose me sometimes because that's how much information, how much knowledge he had. And he's such a humble guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah. That's I would say like the same advice I would give people about the truth, and when you're dealing with people in situations like that, if you're dealing with your kids or you're in a store, it's the same thing that they say for like if you get into a lot of debt, right? If you get too many credit cards and you get into debt, they say, like how do you get out of debt? You don't dig your way out of debt. You stop digging, right? If you keep digging, you're going down deeper. So it's the same thing with lies, right? If you don't know something, stop. Hey, I don't
That's
know.
right.
I don't know. Because if
That's
you
right.
once you start lying and you get into something, now you got to keep digging and it's going down. That's not getting you out. So I think
Yeah,
that same thing applies there. All right, listen, we've definitely run up against 9 o'clock. This has been fun, man. It's
I
been fun.
agree.
Yeah, we have to do this again. I hope the folks
Yeah.
out there enjoyed it. The cuckoo clock seems still to be alive. If I
Yeah, everybody keeps commenting about the cuckoo
I
clock
am the
every time
dude
it
that
goes
will
off.
shoot that thing. You know
Does it
that
actually have
thing.
the little bird that comes out?
I don't know, but I think Patrick put that clock back together or something like that, and it is 100% annoying to me. He probably doesn't even. He probably does. You know, if you're in a home and you have something like that, you just get used to it. You don't even hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys are noticing it, or we're noticing it, because we're here now long enough for us to get it. LV Louis Cipher says this is an interesting philosophical discussion. I agree with that. It's great meeting Eugene. Always great hanging out with Scott, Gorillas and Guns here. Juice says good times. So let's do this. I am going to start with Scott and let him tell the folks out there how they can support him, where they can find his stuff that he's up to. I know you do a podcast with John Crump. Tell the folks about that.
All right. Well, we do the Virginia Reloaded podcast every weekend, usually on Saturdays. We will eventually, or sometimes, shift the days around just depending on what our schedules are like. But yeah, check it out. It's on my channel here, Gorillas and Guns on YouTube. It's on John Crump Live. I'm not sure if he does the John Crump News, but it's also broadcast to Facebook at the Gorillas and Guns group on Facebook, the Virginia GOA Facebook group, the Black Swan Media group. I mean, it's broadcast to a lot of things. And then I believe it comes out on the audio podcast every Wednesday. So if you miss the episodes, you can always find it on the GOA audio podcast version every Wednesday as well. And what we do, we talk about mostly stuff that's happening in Virginia with our 2A rights and a little bit beyond, because it is a GOA podcast. So, we do branch out from Virginia a little bit as well. You can find me here on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook at the Gorillas and Guns group, and you can find me at Patreon. And also, if you are interested in some really cool Gorillas and Guns gear, go to blackswantactical.com. All proceeds go to charity.
Absolutely. Did anyone ever get those Gorillas and Guns shoes? Those things are
John
cool.
bought a pair. I'm about to get a pair.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
don't know who else has,
I want
but
to see them in the real world.
yeah, me
I want
too.
to see them in the real world. All right. So Eugene, tell the folks out there how they can communicate with you. How can they support you? Where can they find your stuff?
Facebook, whammies is the group. And you want to type in WHAMMYS, whammies, plural. You can find us there, and we'll check out the account and then bring you on in. I'm also on YouTube. Whammy Gunslinger is the name to look me up on YouTube, but Whammies on Facebook is where all the magic happens.
Okay, so can I run that in? Can I share that, or you don't? Because I know it's a private group. You've got to.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
okay, so
Yeah,
I'll share that here on the screen. I'm assuming is this top one whammies
that's
apostrophe
it.
s. So
Yes,
you
sir.
click join. So I'm gonna click to join in the group there. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna approve me. Or, we'll see. I don't know if those guys will let me in their club.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, you probably don't want to do it. No, I'll go in there. I'm not gonna make any kind of trouble, man. I don't even have the time. I do make trouble. I'm not gonna lie. I do make trouble. So, for sure, make sure you guys go out here and support these guys. I think it was a great show. Always is with Gorillas and Guns here as well. It was great meeting Eugene. Lola wants me to. Absolutely. Lola wants me to remind you guys to check out the description here. We've got a promo code for US Law Shield, and you get 2 free months on an annual plus the locked-in rate of $10.95 a month. And there's a link and everything for Lola, so thanks a lot, Lola, for reminding me of that. Big shout out to Franklin Armory for supporting us. We really do appreciate that. I'm going to go and run in the end, and I'm going to come back here. And Scott, we should probably let Eugene give us the words of wisdom before we go out, right?
100%.
Absolutely. So we're going to do that. Let me run the end in right now. Let me see what camera is it. Oh, let's go into this weird wonky camera here. All right, guys, make sure that you smash the thumbs ups, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. We're going to rip the audio out of this and throw it up on iTunes and all your favorite place to listen to audio podcasts. Everyone around the world is listening to us, and lots of people in America. We really appreciate it. Eugene, hit us with some words of wisdom, my friend.
Words of wisdom. Ah, boy. Words of wisdom. How about do not let anyone tell you who you are, what you're capable of. How about what we talked about? Dig yourself up, stop digging, whatever it is, whatever it takes. Do not become a victim. You're not a victim. You can do whatever it is you want to do. Fight, play the cards you dealt, get to where you want to go. You can do it.
Absolutely. Amen to that. All right. Thanks, everyone. We are out of here. We will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.